Heavenly Father, we come to you today with humble hearts, seeking your guidance and wisdom as we begin this program. Lord, we ask that you would bless every person who has gathered here today, and that you would be present with us in a special way. We pray that this program would be a time of learning, growth, and fellowship for all of us. Help us to listen to one another with open hearts and open minds, and to support one another as we strive to serve you in all that we do. Please give us the strength and the courage to follow your will and to use the gifts and talents you have given us to make a positive difference in the world. We pray all of this in your holy name. Amen.
Hello at magandang gabi po sa ating lahat and welcome to Leadership 102 webinar on good governance. Of course, brought to you by Scale Up Training and Development. Ayan, thank you so much for joining us tonight and welcome sa mga participants natin na andito sa Zoom. And of course, hindi makakalimutan ng mga participants natin na nasa Facebook live stream ngayon. So tonight, we are going to talk about or pag-uusapan natin ang good governance, which is an important pillar of a sustainable and trusted na leadership. So before we begin, please be reminded of the following. Please keep your microphones muted to minimize background noise. Next, use the chat box responsibly for your questions and comments. Let's respect our speaker and fellow participants at all times. Stay focused and engaged throughout the session. And lastly, if possible naman, please keep your cameras on to make our session more interactive. Ayan. So, sa kaalaman ng lahat, actually, this webinar is the second webinar from our leadership webinar series. Of course, under Scale Up Training and Development. So, quick recap lang, last session, we had Leadership 101, which is the webinar on leadership for administrative professionals. So kung saan napag-usapan natin doon kung paano nga ba mag-develop ng strong leadership skills. And of course, kung paano nga ba effectively na ma-manage ang very diverse na team. So for tonight's topic naman, it will focus on ethical leadership, accountability, and sustainability, which are crucial qualities for leaders, di ba? Na kung gusto ninyo mag-earn ng public trust, dapat meron kayo nun. So, hindi ko na pahintayin pa. So, ang ating mentor for tonight is a multi-awarded consultant, lecturer, international book author, a speaker and civic leader, is the president of the Federation of Private Schools at DepEd Zamboanga del Sur, is a National Council representative of UCCP National Assembly, is a accredited trainer, is a major partner and consultant at RLC Accounting and Consultancy, is a regional and national speaker on journalism, communication arts, leadership and conflict management, and is an author of multiple books on leadership, faith, and community development. He has a leadership distinction awardee and awarded as the most outstanding Auroranian awardee of 2023. So, no, so let's all welcome mentor Rolf Oscar Bagaboy. So, mentor, you now have the virtual floor.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good
How are
evening,
you there?
mentor.
Good evening, sir. I
Good
hope
day,
you're
sir.
doing well. I hope you're doing well. How are you there? How are you? Okay. Um, you are all aware that tonight we'll be talking about good governance. And this is a very fitting topic that we are going to discuss with because in the recent situation that we are facing in our country, it seems that we are struggling on how to manage good governance. So, to give you an idea about myself, as I was already introduced earlier, um, this is about good governance. When we talk about good governance, what comes first in our mind? So, come to think of it, when we say good governance, what comes first in our mind? The word is good, then governance. So, it means when we say good governance, okay, this is a process of public institutions conducting public affairs and managing public resources in a way that is transparent, accountable, participatory, and responsive to the needs of the people, while upholding the rule of law, ensuring that development goals are met through efficient and effective processes that protect human rights and foster public trust. In other words, if we say good governance, there is a particular trust given by a community of people, a group of individuals, people who delegate that responsibility to you so that you are going to carry out the needs that they are demanding for. Like I see that some of you here on screen are students, and you have your community in the school wherein governance is expected to be delivered. Say, you are a classroom officer or a department manager or a student leader or a particular figure in the campus who has the mandate of leading certain group of people. Different people with various background, culture, interest, and affiliation. So you are given the trust by people to do your responsibility. So if you are a president, you are expected to do your task according to the mandate that is given to you. So if you are a classroom president, if you are a department president, there are certain responsibilities that you need to follow. A president cannot do the responsibility of a secretary. So do with a secretary who cannot do the responsibility of a president. And that is because we are accountable to each responsibility that is given to us. So if we say process, there is a particular manner or procedure that you have to obey when you conduct a certain responsibility in public, or when resources and facilities are being allowed to be used by you, not for your own advantage, not for your own interest, but for the interest of many people. Now, we say good governance. How does a governance become good? Paano naging maganda o mabuti ang isang governance, ang isang pamamahala? There are certain things that we have to be reminded of. Good governance is a conduct entrusted by people that honors everyone's rights. If the leadership of a certain organization or a certain public entity understands and honors the right of every person, that is already a conduct of good governance. Yung karapatan mo, nirerespeto ng tao, nirerespeto ng leader. If a leader is consultative of the plans and programs that the organization is thinking to have, then that leadership is practicing good governance. And the leader respects the rights of every member of the organization. So ano yung mga rights natin? Your right to express your ideas, your right to be heard, your right to be informed, to be consulted. If you see leaders behaving this way, then there is a process of good governance. So please take note of that. When we say good governance, it honors everyone's rights. Another thing, when we say good governance, it upholds public trust. Paano natin ma-uphold yung public trust? What can we do to maintain the trust of the people? You have to do what are the responsibilities expected of you to be done. Ang nakikita kasi natin sa iba nating mga leaders, they only accept the responsibility, but when there is something wrong with the responsibility that they are performing of, ayaw nilang managot. They don't make themselves accountable and responsible for the mistakes that they have done. So, we cannot expect people to trust you if the leaders themselves are not accountable and responsible to tell the members of the organization the reason why they failed to do a certain task or responsibility. So, dapat alam natin, naintindihan natin ang karapatan ng bawat isa sa atin. Ang isang leader ay magiging aware sa anumang mga plano ng kanyang mga kasamahan. At saka ang mga kasamahan naman ay magiging aware din kung ano ang mga plano ng mga leaders. It's a give and take relationship actually. Hindi lang na ikaw yung palaging nagbibigay kung ano yung maitulong mo sa organization, dapat din ikaw o ang leader ay merong talagang gagawin upang matulungang mapabuti ang pamamahala ng isang organization. Because an organization is considered a public entity. Hindi yan pagmamayari ng iilan lamang tao. It is being owned, it is all being managed by people whose responsibilities and functions are being delegated to the leaders for them to represent the organization and carry out the demands and needs of the people. Now, when governance prioritizes our rights, the people who manage are always careful and cautious of their decisions and actions so as not to commit violations of the law and suppress the liberality or freedom that is entitled to us. So, nalalaman natin dito na rights are being heard, rights are being respected when people who manage, these are the leaders, are very careful. They are really thinking of the best way, of the right way. They are even trying their best not to frustrate the people. And as much as possible, they set their own selves as good examples so as not to commit violations of the law. It's sad to say that looking at the present political landscape of our country, it seems that our leaders, if not most of our leaders, have not been very careful and cautious of their decisions and actions. They even bend the law. Huh? We already hear the word bending the law. And there is no such thing as bending the law. Because the law itself has to be followed, has to be respected, so that it will be fair and just for each one of us. So, when people are always careful and cautious of their decisions and actions, talagang pinag-aralan, it really takes time to do the planning, and then before a certain project or program is being launched, the people are being consulted. Tinatanong tayo, oh, anong masasabi niyo dito? Okay ba ito na gawin nating project? Is it feasible? Does this project really achieve and met our expectations and needs in the organization? If that is the expectation of the leaders, then we practice governance that actually prioritizes our rights. Mahalaga talaga sa isang leader na alam niya kung ano ang karapatan ng bawat isa sa atin. Mahalaga sa isang leader na meron siyang puso na makinig sa kanyang mga kasamahan. At hindi lang niya isipin sa kanyang sarili na siya lang yung magaling. You know, this is the mentality of some of our leaders. When they sit in the high position of a certain organization, they think that they are the only ones who understand how to manage the organization. But leaders who practice good governance are consultative people. They always listen, they always solicit questions and ideas from members of the organization so as to ensure that the law, the policy, and whatever regulations have not been intentionally violated. Now, the principles of good governance can be discussed in 7 principles, in 7 letters. And it is coined in single word as TAPRE for us to easily recall or understand what are the 7 principles of good governance. TAPRE. Okay, TAPRE. What is TAPRE? So let's start with letter T. T is about transparency. Transparency is exhausted when decision-making processes are open and accessible to the public. Oh, yung sinasabi ko kanina, before a project, a program is launched, it has to be made known by the members of the organization. Before the decision will be made, dapat ikonsulta muna natin ito sa mga tao. So that they will know, so that they will understand, so they can really assess and say what would happen to this plan or project once it is already launched. Because you, being a leader, are not the only one running the organization, and you are not even better than your members. You can only become better as a leader if you consolidate the ideas of your members. That is why transparency is necessary. Kailangan talaga na maging bukas tayo when we make our decision, alam ng mga kasamahan natin kung ano ang ating gagawin, ano ang ating mga hakbang. If we have documents, these documents must be accessible to the members of the organization. Huwag nating itago kasi minsan yung ating mga papers, mga documents, mga reports, like just a very good example, a simple example. In your department, meron kayong activity. Let's say, you have your team building activity. And you chip in for that registration. So, pagkatapos ng activity ninyo, it is the responsibility of every member in the organization to know the cash flow of the team building activity that you did. So dapat alam nila kung ano yung mga pera, magkano yung nagasto sa team building. So in order for the team building activity to become transparent, kasi tapos na yun na activity na gawa na natin, what we are going to do is to post on the bulletin the financial report of the expenses incurred in the conduct of the team building activity. That is transparency. So lahat, alam natin, yung mga ginastos nyo, yung mga contribution nyo, let's say 200 pesos per head, and then you are, say, 200 in the organization. So 200 times 20. Of course, being members of the organization, you will really be asking, saan ba yung pera namin napunta? Paano ba yan nagamit natin? So, through the financial report, it represents the principle of transparency. Gumawa kayo ng plano na mag-team building. So that's the decision-making process. Na-involve kayo doon sa pagplano. Na-konsulta ang bawat isa sa inyo kung ano yung klaseng activity ang gagawin ninyo, ano yung saan yung venue ninyo, magkano yung contribution. So that's about the decision-making process. But how about the aftermath of the activity? Yung paano nagastos yung pera ninyo na naging contribution ng bawat isa para sa team building activity. Yun ang financial report. That financial report has to become accessible to the organization. Kaya nga magre-report yung treasurer sa organization para malaman na ito yung mga nagastos natin sa ating activity. The second principle of good governance is accountability. Public officials are answerable for their actions and decisions. Huwag nating ilimit ang understanding natin sa public officials sa mga government officials lamang. When we say public officials, these are the officials given the trust to handle people in the community. So, pwedeng sa inyong organization because that is a public. Yung organization niyo sa department, that is a public, that is not run by few people lamang. Iba't ibang tao ang members diyan. So, the people who are entrusted with the responsibility to manage the organization must be answerable for their actions and decisions. Going back to my example, na meron kayong team building activity. Paano natin na-exercise ang accountability in the conduct of the team building activity? We exercise the principle of accountability in the conduct of team building activity by asking the officers about the purpose, why we spent this much. Bakit nagastos natin ito? Bakit ito yung ating na-budget? So, dapat nasagutin nila yung mga questions na yun. Because that pertains their conduct and their decision in implementing the activity. So, kailangan talaga na ang isang public official ay managot. I don't say, pag gamitin natin yung word na managot is, meron na siyang maling nagawa. It's all about just telling the people about how did they spend the money. Oh, yun, accountability yun. Kasi kung nagastos mo yung pera, hindi naman yung pera mo eh. It's the money of the organization. So dapat i-explain mo sa mga tao na ito yung mga nagastos natin because we spent the money not for our own interest, not for our own convenience, but for the interest of the entire organization. The third principle of good governance is participation. People or citizens have a voice in decisions that affect their lives and their involvement is encouraged. Yun. Kailangan na meron kayong sasabihin. Meron kayong mga tanong. Your questions, whatever your observations or remarks will affect the direction of the organization. So dapat sa isang member ng organization, huwag tayong tumahimik lang. We should be concerned. We should be active in raising questions, in making our sentiments, our struggles be heard para malaman ng ating mga leaders na merong problema talaga sa ating organization. Okay? So that's participation. Then, the fourth principle of good governance is responsiveness. Institutions and processes are responsive to the needs of the people and adapt to changing circumstances. Meaning, ang isang organization must not be stagnant. It has to be open to change. Dapat na maging handa siya kung ano yung mga pagbabago. Dapat mag-a-adjust siya kung ano yung needs ng mga tao ngayon. Huwag natin sabihin na, this project has been done for the past 20 years. There is a need of us to adapt to the new system or to the new technology. Because the adoption of the new technology also reflects our ability to understand the present needs of the people. Ang ating mga needs bilang members ng organization ay pabago-bago. Every year, may mga pagbabago tayong nakikita. And we have to understand that every member of the organization has different needs. Iba-iba. Iba-iba yung ating mga pangailangan, iba-iba yung ating interest, plus iba-iba pa yung ating kultura at mga atikain sa buhay. Kaya nga, if we really advocate leading people in the spirit of good governance, dapat maging maingat tayo. Dapat maging responsible tayo sa lahat ng ating mga actions at decisions. Kung meron tayong agreement, meron tayong schedule ng meeting na 8 o'clock, dapat 8 o'clock or before 8 o'clock, being a leader, you should be there already in the venue. Paano tayo maging good? Paano tayo magka-implement ng good governance yan? Pag tayo ang nag-set ng schedule na 8 o'clock, dumating tayo ng mga 8:30. Dumating tayo ng mga 9 o'clock. That does not show a spirit of good governance. Then, the next principle of good governance is the rule of law. Laws are fair, impartially enforced, and apply equally to everyone. Ang problema sa atin, especially if meron tayong mga friends, meron tayong mga relatives, doon, we usually apply the what we call bending the law. Na-bend na natin yung law. Kasi meron tayong pinapanigan ng mga tao. If we practice good governance in the organization, in a certain public entity, or in the management of public resources, kung sino yung mga tao na natatamaan, regardless kung relatives ba natin sila o hindi, kung natatamaan sila sa policy ng organization, ng law ng ating community, then they have to abide with it. Wala tayong sinasanto. Pero yung iba, magaling lang magsalita tungkol dyan, di ba? Wala silang sinasanto. Pero they bend the law. They compromise the rule of law. Dahil meron silang mga pinapaborang mga tao. Yung mga padrino system, yun ang mga ganong mga mentality ng Pilipino minsan. Tayo ay hindi nagiging fair sa pagpapatupad ng batas. Sa school natin, no wearing of school uniform, no entry policy. Yung ganon. Pero dahil kaibigan mo yung president ng student council or ng isang department organization or ano ba yung kanyang position dyan, nakalusot ka sa ganung policy. Then that is not the rule of law. we cannot really exhaust good governance if tayo mismo na mga leaders, mismo ang mga namamahala sa isang organization ay hindi favorable, or let's say hindi fair sa pagpapatupad ng mga batas sa isang organization na dapat sana ipatupad para sa lahat. Then, we have this principle on efficiency and effectiveness. Public resources are used widely to produce best results for society. Public resources, sabi natin, yung mga facilities natin, yung mga ginagamit natin sa ating community ngayon. Ano ba yon? Ano bang nakikita natin ngayon sa ating infrastructure sa community? Sira yung ating mga kalsada. Yung ating tulay, yung budget is ganito, pero kung titingnan mo yung actual na nagawa, hindi mo makikita at masasabi na na-exhaust talaga yung budget. Why? Because of corruption. Leaders are thinking of taking advantage of the resources that are supposed to be used for the common good. So, makikita natin na hindi maganda yung pagkagawa ng project ng gobyerno. Kulang tayo ng ating mga gamit sa opisina. Bakit? Yung ating mga bond paper sa opisina, instead na para sa opisina, dinadala natin yung ating mga materyales sa bahay. Oh, that is corruption. And when corruption creeps in the system of public, in the management of public resources, ang tendency dyan ay hindi natin ma-expect na magkaroon tayo ng best results para sa ating society. So, public resources should be used and spent wisely and productively para yung pera na ginugugol natin para dito ay hindi masasayang. So that's efficiency and effectiveness. Magre-reflect ito sa paano mo pinaplano ang pag-spend ng pera. Nagplano kayo with your members, consulted ang mga kasamahan na ito yung magiging hakbang. And then, the plan is already done. It's time to spend. After purchasing or procuring the materials or the resources, bibilhin mo. Yung binibili mo ba na mga materials or resources for the organization or for the community or for the society, sapat ba siya? If we are truthful to the spending and preparation of the budget para sa ibibili nating mga resources, facilities, or materials na gagawin natin sa isang organization, wala tayong problema when we talk of the production of results. Pero pag may mga pagnanakaw, hindi natin nagagamit ng tama yung mga facilities or your resources, hindi talaga natin ma-achieve yung tinatawag nating principle of efficiency and effectiveness in good governance. Then, equity and inclusiveness. Equity and inclusiveness. All members of society are treated fairly and have equal opportunities. Wala tayong pinapanigan niya, yung sinasabi ko kanina. If the policy is like this, then bawat isa sa atin susunod sa policy na yan. Kung nakapag-violate ka sa policy na yan, then you are expected to face the penalty for violating the law or for violating the policy. Ngayon, we have this issue on anomalous flood control projects in the Philippines. People are clamoring that the real big fish in the government ay hindi talaga nakukulong. Ganun pa lang masasabi natin na walang equity and inclusiveness na nangyayari. Kasi takot ang iba sa atin na ipakulong ang mga malalaking isda sa ating gobyerno. In the principle of good governance, kung sino yung nagkasala, siya talaga yung makukulong. At walang sinasanto kung sino man sila. That is the mindset of a leader who practices good governance. Now, why are we studying good governance? What is the significance of this? Anong kahalagahan ng good governance? I've been establishing a lot of organizations, mga NGOs, mga social civic groups. Founder ako ng iba't ibang mga grupo na umabot na ng almost 40 years. And we always make sure that good governance is being practiced in our respective conduct of leadership because limited yung resources natin. Pag limited yung resources natin, tapos nanakawin pa natin yung ating mga budget, yung pondo ng organization natin, hindi natin ma-achieve yung kaunlaran na in-expect natin sa bawat isa. Because one essential trait of good governance is that it helps us achieve development goals and improves the quality of life for all citizens. Gusto kasi ng good governance na merong pagbabago at kaunlaran sa buhay ng bawat isa. Mag-i-improve talaga yung life ng mga tao. Pero pag ang mga leaders natin ay bigay lang ng ayuda, para sa akin kasi ayuda is not really a good reflection of good governance. Kasi natuturuan natin yung ating mga kababayan na maging dependent na lamang sa assistance ng iba, assistance ng gobyerno. But when we achieve development goals and improve the quality of life for all citizens, kasali doon ang pagtuturo ng mga tao, paano sila magkaroon ng livelihood, maghanap buhay. Tinuturuan sila na magnegosyo, gano'n. Mayroong mga value system na impart sa kanila through seminars, through lectures. Yung ginagawa natin ngayon, this is a good seminar on moral growth na tinuturuan tayo na mahubog yung ating pananaw para maging maganda pa ang kalidad ng ating buhay. Then, another significant trait of good governance is that it helps reduce corruption and abuse of power. Dahil sa tayo ay nagpo-focus sa malinis na pamamahala or good governance, napabawas natin o napabawasan natin yung corruption at abuso ng tao. Bakit? Kasi ang bawat isa sa atin, ng mga members ng organization, ay aware kung ano yung mga plano at paano ginastos yung pera ng isang public group or organization. So, ang tendency dyan, the leaders will be very careful of their actions. Takot sila na mag-abuso ng kanilang responsibility. Kasi bawat isa sa atin sa organization ay nagmamasid sa kanilang mga hakbang. Nagmamasid sa kanilang mga plano at ginagawa. So, yun nga, yung transparency, yung kanilang yung mas principles na sinasabi natin kanina, Yun ang makakatulong upang mabawasan ang korupsyon at ang pag-abuso ng leader sa kanyang pamamahala sa organization. And that is the significant trait of good governance. Third, it builds public trust in institutions. Siyempre, pag nakita natin na maganda yung mga plano, tapos alam natin kung ano yung mga projects na pinaplano ng ating officers, consulted tayo, and then we understand how the money is being spent for the projects sa isang organization, yan ay nagpapalakas ng ating tiwala sa institusyon. So, kung meron tayong mga contribution na gagawin, kung ano yung ating mga projects na pinagplano, tapos tayo ay mag-chip in for that, hindi tayo magdadalawang isip na tutulong. Because we trust. We trust the system. We believe that our leaders are doing well and the projects are being spent wisely and productively for the interest of everyone. So, hindi nagpapayaman yung ating mga leaders. Hindi nila binubulsa yung pera ng ating organization. Kundi tayo mga members ay part talaga sa kanilang mga plano at hindi lang na sila yung mga officers na dyan ang nagpaplano-plano lang kung paano nila gagamitin yung pera ng organization. So, iniisip talaga ng mga leaders na before coming up with projects and programs, yung ating mga members ng organization have to know about this. Dapat alam ninyo, dapat alam natin na ito yung ating mga projects na gagawin. Kasi pag ang mga officers lang ang nagpaplano dyan, wala tayong consultation na ginagawa sa ating mga meeting. Hindi tayo binibigyan ng opportunity to evaluate what has been done by our officers in the organization, by our leaders in the organization, eh hindi tayo talaga magkaroon ng trust sa kanila. Kasi inisip natin na sinusolo lang nila yung ating pera. Sila lang yung nag-enjoy sa mga budget na pinagplano nila. So, in order for us to gain the trust, the leaders have to show that they are really dedicated, responsible, and doing things with integrity and competence. Another significant trait of good governance is that it ensures that human rights, including civil, political, economic, and social rights, are realized. Human rights. Yung ating karapatang pantao. Ano ba yung ating mga human rights? We have a right to speak. We also have a right to be silent. We also have a right to express our ideas. We have a right to organize peaceably. But we have to remember that rights are not absolute. Kasi minsan, pag sobra na yung rights na binibigay natin sa bawat isa, ay naaabuso natin yun. Kung tayo ay magkaroon ng rally, make sure na yung rally natin is really peaceful. Huwag tayong gagawa ng rally na magulo. Well, the purpose of having a rally is for us to make our voices heard. Na kung ano yung ating mga sentiments at yung mga struggles natin ay maririnig ng ating mga leaders. But we have to do that in a very ethical, respectful, and right way. Na walang mga mangyayaring magulo or kaguluhan during the time. Civil. Ano yung mga civil rights? Political rights, economic and social rights. Dapat itong lahat ng mga karapatan na sinasabi natin have to be respected by our leaders. At tayo din bilang members, we have to know also the right things to do. Yung sabi nga na iba, customer is always right. Depende kung yung customer naman ay nasa maganda or mabuti na, let's say, mabuting pagtrato niya sa kanyang, let's say, um, kliyente or customer, yung binibilhan niya ng kanyang product. Uh, kung bastos ka naman na customer, then you are not always right. Kung hindi ka naman marunong mag-appreciate, kung hindi ka naman honest, kung hindi ka naman careful sa iyong pananalita, then how should people respect you na ikaw naman ay walang respeto sa iyong sarili? So, ganun yun eh. It has to be mutually respected by everyone. Ang leader, para magkaroon siya ng respect galing sa mga tao, then he or she has to behave in a way na magiging kagalang-galang naman siya. Kanyang pananalita, hindi siya tactless na kahit ano lang yung mga kabastusan or mga... Minsan, pag tayo ay nagagalit, hindi natin nakokontrol yung ating damdamin. We say words that hurt others. And we become unprofessional and unethical also when we let our emotions drive us because we are already angry at the situation. Kailangan din na marunong tayong maging moderate sa ating mga damdamin, sa ating mga emotions. Minsan, sa masasabi natin, there are a lot of intelligent people in this world, and yet only few are ethical and professional. Yung iba nga, ang taas na ng mga degree na naabot nila, but the way they speak, they seem to be unprofessional and unethical. So yun ang dapat natin isabihin. We have to respect human rights. Now, what are the 4 P's of good governance? First is the people, stakeholders, mga members ng organization, mga leaders, board of directors, ang ating mga partners, yung ating mga customers, yung ating mga clients. These are the stakeholders. Then, purpose. Dapat alam natin kung ano yung ating patutunguhan. Ano yung ating direksyon sa organization 10 to 20 years from now. Ano ba yung plano ninyo? O kung kayo ay mabot na kayo ng 10 years, bakit ito pa yung na-achieve ninyo sa inyong organization? Are you able to realize your long-term plan? Minsan nga sa atin, wala tayong purpose eh. Gumagawa lang tayo ng activity pero wala tayong uh, malalim na dahilan kung ano yung patutunguhan natin dito. And we are only thinking about us. Hindi natin iniisip yung susunod na generation, yung susunod na mga members ng organization. Like in my case, I am a local historian. I write historical books. Ang concern ko kasi is I want to write historical books, not for myself, but for the future generation to know the details of the past. Ma-appreciate nila kung ano yung mga legacies ng mga tao sa isang organization from the time this organization was started up to the present time. So, meron ba tayong vision? Meron ba tayong vision? Meron ba tayong long goals? When we say long-term goals, at least meron tayong gustong abutin 3 to 5 years from now. That's long-term goals. Pag sinasabi natin short-term goals, that's 6 to 1 year. 3 to 6 months. Ano ba yung purpose ng organization mo? Kung meron kayong itinatayo na club sa isang school or certain group, ano ba yung mission no? Why are you putting up this organization? What is your purpose? Ganon. Minsan nga hindi natin nakikita 'yon. Lalo na pag ang purpose lang natin ay sikat, maraming mga tao na mag-appreciate sa atin. But actually, people who are practicing good governance always think of the future of others, even if that future cannot be seen already by them. Minsan, hindi na nila maabutan yung future na yan, but they are preparing that future for the next generation. Then we have the process, the rules, the systems, and procedures to ensure accountability, transparency, and effective decision making. Mahalaga sa isang organization na tumutuon sa good governance na alam natin kung ano yung sistema na ating uh, let's say pinapatakbo sa ating grupo, sa ating organization. Kaya nga importante na meron tayong manual. 'Di ba sa mga organization, sa mga school, meron talagang tinatawag na student manual, corporate manual, operations manual, technical manual para tayo ay magkaroon ng guidance. And this manual will lead us to the process that ensures accountability, transparency, and effective decision making. Hindi tayo magkaroon ng magandang desisyon or makapag-approve sa isang plano kung wala naman tayong nakasulat na sistema o procedure. Kaya nga dapat isulat natin yun sa isang manual. Ano ba yung basis natin? Sabihin natin, oh, you have violated the policy. Then the question is there a policy being written? Wala tayong policy na may pakita. So paano tayo magkaroon ng evidence that the person has already violated the policy or the law? When in fact, wala tayong may pakita na naisulat natin na sistema, rules, and procedures. Yun pa lang, wala tayong papel na may pakita, wala tayong manual na may pakita. How can we uphold transparency and accountability? Wala nga tayong may pakitang papel, wala nga tayong may pakitang manual. Decision making. Wala tayong basihan sa paggawa ng desisyon dahil wala tayong may pakitang dokumento. Kaya nga, in a very simple group like student body or department student organization, kailangan talaga na meron kayong naisulat ng mga manual or siguro parang minutes of the meeting. Kung ano yung mga napagkasuduan nyo doon sa meeting. Dapat nakasulat yun. Kasi yun ang magiging basis ninyo for your decision. Na based sa action natin sa last na meeting, pag hindi ka pag wala kang kumpletong suot na uniform, hindi ka talaga makakapasok sa school. That is the policy. So, we cannot strengthen that policy if there is no written policy being included in the manual. Wala tayong maipakita na nakasulat yun. Then the last P of good governance is performance. Evaluating how objective the resources and financial targets are achieved. Performance. Alam na natin sino yung mga tao na kasama natin sa pag-implement ng plano. These are the stakeholders. Sino yung magpapatupad or gagawa ng policy or ng batas sa isang organization? That's the board of directors or the legislative body. Then we have also our customers, our clients. This comprises the people. Then the purpose, the process. Meron na tayong people, meron tayong purpose, meron tayong process, pero wala naman tayong checking of the performance. Kumusta yung ating nagawa? Na-achieve ba natin yung ating target? Kung yung ating project worth, say, 50,000 pesos for this, bakit hindi natin nabili ang project na ito? Anong problema natin? So, that we go through the process of evaluation. Performance. Pag ang isang plano ay hindi natin napatupad, there is something wrong with the performance. Yung siguro wala kayong evaluation na ginagawa sa mga kasamahan nyo sa organization. Or diretso-diretso lang kayo sa mga plano ninyo without even asking wisdom or advice from the senior officers or those who have more experience than you sa pag-lead ng isang organization. So, kailangan talaga yung evaluation. First na gagawin natin is we plan our activity. Tapos, na-identify natin kung sino yung mga tao na itatap natin dito, sino yung maging responsible. Then, sa activity natin yon, dapat alam natin kung ano yung purpose, ano yung reason na ito yung ating gagawing activity. Then, after that, paano natin gagawin yung activity? That is the process. Actually, yung 4 P's of good governance, yun ang ating basic talaga na ginagawa when we do a certain plan for an activity to be implemented in the organization. So, hindi natin ma-identify or ma-recognize kung gaano kagaling or ano ang problema ng ating mga stakeholders, anong mga tao, or ano ang problema ng ating purpose, or kung hindi ba natin na-achieve yung ating purpose, or hindi natin nasunod yung sistema, yung process, pag wala tayong performance. And performance is fully centered on evaluating the objectives. Yung objectives, ano ba yung gusto nating maabot, di ba? Ano yung gusto nating ma-attain? Yun ang objective. Hindi tayo diretso lang sa isang activity na hindi natin pinag-aralan na mabuti. Okay. Um, I can entertain questions along the way. You have questions. Maybe I'm too fast or what? That your question? Can anyone here uh, ask questions?
None, sir.
Okay. Baka meron gusto magtanong dito. Or any sharing for that matter based on your experience. Uh, I encourage your remarks. So just remember ha, pag sinabi natin good governance, you conduct public affairs. You manage public resources. Hindi sa'yo yun. Ah, meron kang ganitong opportunity na natanggap sa buhay mo to travel, attend a seminar. After attending the seminar, because you belong to a public group or organization, your accountability is to liquidate the expenses that you have spent in attending the seminar. That shows that good governance is really practiced. Pag iniisip mo na talagang ililiquidate ko yung aking mga nagastos sa biyahe, yung receipt, yung pagkain, ng venue, ng seminar, uh, magkano yung nagastos ko for the seminar. Liquidation is part of the principle of transparency and accountability. Kasi yung pera na binigay sa iyo ng organization, hindi yun sa iyo. That belongs to the organization. And the members of the organization are expecting you to explain in details, not necessarily explaining to them one by one, but through the office being delegated to look into that matter, which is the office of the treasurer or the finance officer, yun. Na yung mga nagastos mo, dapat naka-attach yung receipts, yung expenses. That is part of the principle of transparency and accountability. And it's not acceptable for anyone who has attended a seminar na pagkatapos niya, wala siyang maipakitang resibo or attachments proving or attesting to the money given to him or her for the attendance in the seminar or conference, kung ano yung sinasalihan mo doon. So that's part of the principle of transparency and accountability.
Hello,
Okay?
sir. May question po tayo dito sa chat
Yes.
box. So, from a participant, ang tanong niya po is there a country or state that we can benchmark on good governance policies or practices?
Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah. The first world countries, mostly in Europe, Switzerland, New Zealand, Netherlands, and even Japan. These are the countries that practice good governance. They are really very much particular in exercising transparency, accountability in the conduct of public affairs and management of public resources. So kung i-compare natin yung conduct ng kanilang public affairs sa Pilipinas, masyadong malayo tayo. Masyadong malaki yung agwat natin. Why? Because, as I have observed, some of our leaders have hidden hidden documents, hidden intentions. Hindi tayo naging open sa ating mga gusto nating gawin. Pag hindi tayo honest at hindi tayo expressive kung ano yung ating mga plano na gagawin for the organization, we tend to cheat. We tend to make a deliberate dishonesty. With deliberate dishonesty. Kasi meron tayong tinatago sa atin. Sa ibang bansa kasi, kung ano yung mga binabayaran nila na tax, nababalik talaga sa mga tao. Ang nakita natin sa atin ngayon, malaki na ngayong nabayad natin sa tax, hindi pa nafe-feel, hindi pa nararamdaman ng bawat tao, bawat Pilipino, na naibalik sa atin yung ating binabayaran tax. If there is a failure in the return of that services to the people, then there is also a failure of upholding accountability and transparency. And that shows that the governance in our country is not responsive to the needs of the people. Kasi hindi rin natin napapatupad ng maayos ang batas. Meron tayong mga pinapaboran. Yung iba nating mga leaders natin, meron silang mga sariling favorite. Sa organization nga natin, meron tayong sariling favorite, di ba? Yung teacher nga natin, merong favoritism. Merong mga favorites din sa school. So, just by looking at that context, masasabi natin na may problema talaga tayo in terms of being responsive to the needs of the people. And when we are not being responsive to the needs of the people, the principle of transparency and accountability cannot also be. Thank you.
Much, sir. Meron pa pong isa for another participant po. Ang tanong niya is, why is transparency often talked about but rarely shown in real actions?
Come again, please, ma'am.
Ay, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Audible na po ba ako?
Ay. Please come again, ma'am.
Okay, ayan po. So, ang tanong niya po is, why is transparency often talked about but rarely shown in real actions?
Okay. Well, ang problema natin, bakit ang transparency ay hindi natin naipakita? Yun nga, yung sinabi ko kanina, meron tayong inilihim sa mga tao. Meron tayong mga bagay na hindi natin nakukonsulta or kinukonsulta yung ibang tao kasi meron tayong to be honest, meron tayong mga masamang plano, masamang balak. Pag ang isang organization, ang mga leaders ay may masamang balak, talagang hindi talaga i-open yun. Hindi talaga sasabihin yung lahat ng kanilang mga plano kasi mabibisto sila. And that is why transparency is extinguished from the scene. Dahil nga ayaw nila na malalaman ang bawat hakbang na gagawin nila. 'Yun ang problema. Pero pag wala kang ill feelings, wala kang guilt, wala kang tinatago, there's no way to hide. And transparency is easily exercised. Kaya lang, yun nga, I'm hoping, no, as a as a moral and motivational development consultant, I'm hoping that among you, our participants who are very young in heart and in spirit, ibahin natin yun. Burahin natin yung ganong mindset na kung ano yung ginagawa ng ating mga leaders gan ay susundin natin. Because that is not actually practicing transparency. Dapat lahat ng mga plano, projects, budget, dapat malalaman talaga ng tao yun. Kasi sa atin yun. And, and the project, the plan is ours. Hindi yun sa kanila lang. No? Dapat alam natin na magkano yung para dito, yung napunta dito, yung para dito. Yun nga dapat sana. So, tama. We rarely see the application of transparency in the present landscape of our country kasi maraming mga tao ang nainganyo na magkurap na lang or magnakaw ng pera. Okay, from Nelmar Pisos, okay, please pose it again, your question.
Ko na lang po. Actually, may na sa kanya. Other participants, question po nila is, meron po bang assessment tool para apply ang isang institution na nagpa-practice ng good governance?
Yeah, actually, kailangan talaga na merong assessment tool, merong assessment checklist na gagawin. Marami naman, actually, sa ating mga company, sa mga organization natin, nandun talaga yung transparency, checklist, yung tool na yon. Ang problema, sa actual na hakbang, sa actual na kilos, hindi na natin nagagamit. Kasi nga, tayo ay na-influence na or na-tempt na tayo sa pera, na-tempt na tayo sa opportunity, sa mga privileges dyan. So, it's sad to note na hindi natin nasusunod talaga yon. Meron tayong mga criteria, meron tayong mga rubrics or metrics for that. Pero, hindi natin nasusunod. Kasi, we are tempted to engage in corrupt practices. ang taging ang taging pag-asa ko lang kayong mga kabataan. Sana, sana maging sana maging faithful kayo sa pagiging uh, leaders of good governance. Hindi lang yung good governance in name, but really good governance in spirit and in truth.
Okay. Thank you, sir. And then, so, in your view, daw po, is it from top or from top to bottom or otherwise?
It should start from the top because good governance should always look at who is being given the responsibility to handle the top. Kasi pag ang top natin ng mga leaders ay honest, transparent, responsive sa needs ng tao, hindi madali lang yon sa bottom ng mga leaders natin na susundin. Kasi they have to mirror themselves as the crowning glory of good governance. Kasi sila yung nasa tuktok eh, nasa itaas sila eh. So nakikita ng lahat kung ano yung kanilang mga aspirations, ano yung kanilang mga vision, ano yung kanilang mga actuations, yung kanilang mga reaction or responses sa mga problema na kinakarap ng ating bansa ngayon o ng ating lipunan. Dapat magsimula talaga from the top. Kasi it has to be it has to be a good example. It has to be an exemplar of good governance ang nasa itaas.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, may mga questions pa po ba?
You can just
Sige.
chat your question.
Oo, pwede nyo po, pag nahihiya po kayo mag-open mic, you can feel free to use naman ang chat box. So, while waiting po, please don't forget to fill out our attendance sheet na makikita. So, may QR code po kayong makikita. So, pwede nyo po siyang i-scan to fill. Da-direct po kayo sa attendance sheet or you can also click the link na sinend ko po sa chat. Sure ba? Kung wala na, can send a heart emoji sa chat box. If klaro na po, can I see some heart emojis sa chat box? Ayan, thank you, thank you. Thank you, sir, sa napaka-inspiring at insightful na session, no? And also, thank you din sa mga kapit. So, ayan, we would
Uh,
like
my
to
pleasure po for having me uh, tonight, and I'm looking forward to talk to you more, guys. Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity.
Yes, sir. So, gusto namin po kayo so if ever may nakikita kayo interested, can things and any other announcements.
Okay, I'm inviting you to visit my books on Amazon, available worldwide. These books talk about faith, leadership, hope, inspiration, and perhaps some of you are experiencing some kind of struggles in life. Uh, Maybe you can get some wisdom from those books. Just visit Amazon. I am also doing some consultancy work all over the country. Like I write autobiography, local history of other places, different organizations, conduct seminars and trainings. I can also be invited because I travel most of the time. Yeah. I also do some retreats, in building activities, camping session. So hope to see you in the future, face to face. Do you still have questions or maybe share some remarks?
Ang certificate po, sir, saan po kunin?
Okay. You're welcome. Thank you so much. Did I make my discussion on good governance clear? Thank you. Thank you for the thumbs up.
Sorry, sorry. Ayun po, sorry nawala. Nawala video. Ayan, wait lang. So, ayun, asan na po ba tayo? Okay, yun lang. Balik kayo sa aming mga scheduled webinars na pwede po kayo mag-register. No? Your announced training. Ayan, thank you so much, everybody. Webinar on government. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Stay safe. Good night.